Hi, I'm Linda Deir, and this guy right here.
Ray Holly, the wizard of wonderment, marketing, and all magic.
Guys, we always love having you guys, and we love our Tuesdays with you. Each week in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, I ask my spirit guides, what's the most important thing for you to know right now? We channel these insights using Ask the Universal channel, just like your spirit guides and angels communicate with you in a personal angel coaching session with me. Look for these links in the description of this video. Tonight, the guides will be talking about short-term or long-term planning for your life. This was published today in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. And like always, Ray will be monitoring the Facebook feed for your questions and comments. So feel free to let me know what's on your mind regarding tonight's insight. Short-term or long-term planning for your life. Do you tend to overreact when confronted with a situation by turning it into a problem? Do you jump to conclusions? Or do you listen to your intuition, write it down, and examine it before you make a decision? This is the difference between your gut feelings and your intuition. Some people say they are the same, but they are not. A gut feeling triggers the fight or flight response. It's immediate. It demands immediate attention. Don't go down that dark alley. Be careful when you are around that negative person. Your intuition is not immediate. It desires and requires that you ask yourself questions about the intuitive message you received. Where did you get it from? What does it really mean? When and how did you receive it? How did it make you feel? What did you realize from the intuitive message? All this goes on before you decide to take the action you will take from the intuition. However, after you perform on these questions, and if you procrastinate or fail to take action, the guidance that came from your intuition will lose its effectiveness. That is what you don't want to have happen. Is have it sit there and then over analyze it. You freeze up, stop, and even after you've done the analysis of what you received, even after you've gone through all that, you see it on the paper. You see it, actually, you see it in your journal. This is the journal that I wrote that's specific to writing these incidences down in your journal so you can track what happened. You can keep a log of what's been going on, date it, and refer back to what you got, what happened, write it down, what you felt, what you realized, and what action you took or intend to take. This is what, and you refer back to it. When you do this work, when you track your steps, when you stop missing what this intuition really means, that's when you'll be able to benefit by it. That's when you'll be able to take the action and see a positive result. You did the work. You took the action, all right? So, Ray, who do we have with us tonight?
We have so far Kathy and Larissa. Hi, everybody.
All right, and we have a kitty cat at our door.
Yeah, the neighbor's cat. It must be dinner time.
I already fed the cat.
You know?
Yeah, she hears us in here, so she wants to be part of the action.
Yeah.
Those little cute little animals, aren't they sweet?
How much do we spend on cat food? We don't even have a cat.
Probably $30 a month.
Oh, at least.
I know. Well, she likes it, Ray.
Anyway,
what's
like having a cat without having the expense of having a cat.
You know,
no vet bills or stuff like that.
I know, but if something happened to her, you know, anyway.
Oh.
Okay, so we had a comment today on this insight from
Teresa.
Yeah.
Okay, Teresa said, "Hi, Linda. this is an interesting topic in that I oftentimes consider my gut feeling to be closely linked to my intuition. I find myself in my head a lot, although less and less as I get older, analyzing this or that to the nth degree. If I pause, breathe, get in touch with my body and the visceral feeling versus the intellectual feeling, I will often have a gut feeling about something which is more accurate. The key for me, though, which you mentioned in your post, is not to immediately react upon that feeling, but rather to take the time to respond. Okay. And Linda Deir responds, the gut is primal and the intuition is your connection to a higher intelligence source. The gut feeling is like an alarm telling you that there is a real and present danger. Intuition gives you the capacity to know things and solve problems intuitively. They're both important, just different. You don't need to hone your gut feeling, but you do with intuition. That's why the guides mentioned in the writing today and the review process before you act on the intuition. But once you have performed on this, do not hesitate to take the action, as the intuition will have a shelf life.
Right, like I mentioned earlier. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, to a guy, guys don't always say, well, I'm a real intuitive guy, and they always say gut feeling.
Right.
It's my gut feeling says this, my gut feeling says that. No, your gut feeling says, don't jump out in front of that truck.
Your gut feeling is something that's going to be in your face.
Right.
Obvious. You can't miss it. You turn around, you feel something, you feel someone behind you, and they have some kind of intention, you don't know what it is. You turn around, that's a gut feeling. That's protection. Okay, that's what that is. But intuition comes from a higher vibration. It's not a fight or flight response. It's not fear, primal animal instinct. It's intuition. It's really, do animals have intuition? No. They have gut responses. They have
instincts.
Instincts, right? Fight or flight. That is not intuition. Humans have intuition. Okay, they're different. But humans also have gut feelings, which keep them out of immediate, danger and stuff like that.
And intuition is different from consciousness, because there's a lot of animals that are highly conscious, but they may not have intuition.
Okay, animals are conscious.
Yeah, like a dolphin.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But intuition is consciousness at the same time.
Right, part of it.
The more intuitive, the more you pay attention to your intuition, and you do what they talked about. You do the work. You work the process that they talked about. The more that you do that, the more you understand who you are, the more you understand how this intuition works to your benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the gut feeling is like instinct.
Yeah, it is.
A deer in the woods doesn't get intuitive hits. They don't stand around going, well, it's a perfect day for a lot of hunters to be out here, and maybe I should, they hear a twig snap and they run.
Right. So intuition is something you ponder. Okay, you don't see an animal ponder. They don't do that. They're either at ease or they're reacting, not acting, reacting to a situation that alarmed them. All right.
Yeah. I'm the this world guy, and you're the other world girl. And planning's a big thing. I grew up in a corporate environment. Planning's a big deal.
Well, I will say this, that from my business background, and I've got I've had many businesses. I use my intuition, but I also do a lot of planning around that intuition. So even though Ray's talking about he, was in the corporate world, did a lot of planning, I would say that I probably did more planning, because I had my own businesses. I had nobody there to catch me. I had to figure it all out for myself. So when I used my intuition and interfaced it with this world and brought them together, I could plan things that made sense. But I will tell you this, intuition is when I plan things, they'll tell me, they'll say, try everything, Linda. Take this. This is the direction. This is true north for you. This is where we want you to go. This is where we're pointing you to go. This is the right timing and direction for you to go right now. Okay, but they will say, try all these different things to find out what feels best for you. Okay, so they don't tell you what to do. They show you where to look, but they don't tell you what to see. It's your life. It's your experiment. It's what you came here to evolve from and become more as a result of this experiment. This is all an experiment, and it does require planning. That's why they talked about writing it down. You've got to write it down, reflect, ask yourself how it felt. From that, ask yourself, what did you realize? That's where the power comes from. The power comes from what you realized. Now you have the ability to take the action. But you have to take the action. It's free will. You have to choose to go that way.
Yeah, short-term or long-term planning, whether it's in this world or the spiritual world, when you're working with intuition, they both have a lot in common. They both require dedication. They require hard work.
They do.
And time. And in this world, money.
That's true. Ray's
if you're
right.
building a business or you have dreams of a business.
To see it through.
Right. Long-term planning would be, you could have an idea of what your business wants to be, but you might have to have money to open that business, so you better start saving today. That would be short-term. Long-term, I'm going to open my business in 5 years.
Or I'm going to keep my day job while I'm in the process of writing that blog, of building the foundation, building my social media presence while I keep my day job so that I don't put this in jeopardy. And you're still working that way. You're moving that way, but not without, support to get you there, like Ray's talking about.
Yeah, a lot of people make the mistake of
quitting their job.
Well, yeah, they move from the East Coast and they move to, say, Sedona, and they quit their job, and I'm just going to go to Sedona and be spiritual.
And they're going to take care of me. The guides are going to take care of me. The universe will take care of me. And there's truth in that, but that's taking it a little bit too far. All right.
They might keep you out of harm's way.
Right.
But
and they'll give you direction. I know that because I've done it. But it's a rough way to go. There's an easier way to do it. When you bring these two worlds together, you see it's about bringing these two worlds together and getting yourself back in one piece so that now you've got all the support you need from the world you came from your guides, your present, the real you, and you're in this world and functioning within the guidelines of this world, okay, as you bring these two together. All right, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, when I was I think there's a lot of overlap between this world and that world when it comes to planning anything, whether you get an intuitive hit to do something or you just have a desire in this world to go out and make money somehow with your own business. Then
and it could be one and the same. From the world you came from the intuition, it could be, as you bring it into this world, it could be a business you're launching. It has been for me every single time.
In the research I did, what I noticed in both, whether it's spiritual development or business development, they both said the same thing. You need to write in your journal every day.
Now, where did you get this, Ray?
On the internet. I studied a bunch of articles.
Okay, good.
But all of them said...
They support that concept.
You need to write in your journal at least 5 minutes a day. That's nothing. At least, you always say at least 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, and once you start writing 15 minutes, you find that grows pretty quickly because it does a lot of things besides just putting ideas down on a piece of paper. It's a form of meditation, and it forces you to be present.
It really does. And when you're present, I'm going to reiterate this because I always say it. When you're present, that's when your guides you're connected to your guides. That's when you have the connection back, all right? When you're not present, you're missing, okay, instead of connected. Mm-hmm. So who do we have, Ray?
And Mary Jan joined us. Hi, Mary Jan.
Great, Mary Jan. Glad to have you.
Yep. In your case, writing in your journal, you wrote because you didn't have anybody else to talk to.
I didn't have anybody else to figure out what was going on with me when I was 7 years old. And I was encountering all these paranormal experiences. I had nobody to talk to that would understand that they would have caused harm to me. All right.
They said if you want to be a writer, a lot of people want to be a writer nowadays. They said, one article said, if you want to be a writer, you should be writing in your journal because it's going to make you a better writer. You're going to become clearer.
It is so true. It's just a byproduct, an unexpected byproduct you get from using your journal. Okay, it's an extra bonus.
Another interesting thing they said, besides writing in your journal for at least 15 minutes a day, is if you have a particular thing that you have to learn, and you can't go to college, though you already have a job and you're working, but
yeah.
They said 30 minutes a day, study to improve on what it is that you want to learn. Study on what you want to learn for 30 minutes a day. And say you want to open your business 5 years from now. If you do that 30 minutes a day, that is 10,950 minutes in a year. That's 182 hours a year. And in 5 years, that is over 900 hours of study. That's 8 college degrees. You become
without the debt.
Yeah, with no student loan debt. There you go. And you would be at that point a noted world authority on whatever that topic is. If you studied it 30 minutes a day.
Right.
For 5 years.
Right. Something that's really interesting to you. Just because you don't get a diploma handed to you along with a great big giant debt
bill.
load.
Yeah, here's your bill and here's your diploma.
Yeah, you don't need that to prove to yourself that you're worthy. That's what this really is about.
Yeah, that diploma thing is an educational thing. The other thing was a learning thing.
Yeah, the diploma is designed to get you through the door and employ you.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah. Okay, so, whether you're doing life planning or spiritual planning, you have to have little milestones along the way that keep your interest up. You got to give yourself little rewards along the way.
Well, I will tell you this, that when you write in your journal, okay, when you keep track of what's going on with you, you document these intuitive insights you're getting, these gut feelings. Write them all down, you guys, and document them and answer those 4 qualifying questions where you write it down first, where you got it from, how you knew it was intuition or a gut feeling, and what you felt from that, what you felt, what you realized, and what action you intend to take. It's the same thing when you have a dream. You run yourself through the same exact process to flush out what that dream message is. Because that's coming from your intuition, you guys. In fact, that is so brilliant, your dreams. In that dream, and then when you write it down in your journal and then date it and then check the boxes, how you know where it came from, how you know it was came from wherever it came from in addition to your dreams. Then answer those 4 qualifying questions. You can't miss what that dream is pointing you, where it's pointing you to go. You can't miss. It's not possible to miss it.
Some of the articles I read also talked about challenges whenever you're doing planning and you're working toward a goal or a dream. Some of the biggest problems were staying inspired, whether it's business or spiritual. You have to do something to stay inspired with the direction you're going. You have to stay balanced. That was difficult. And also present. Stop worrying about what you did in the past, what happened in the past, and stop thinking about how it's going to turn out in the future because you're just betting on something you have no idea.
You're out of the present moment.
Right.
The inspiration, I'm going to argue with that. Okay, only because of my life, and I've lived it, and I know from living it. I will agree with you that if you're just working at a job, and it's just you got a diploma to get this one job, all right, to get employed. It may be at the beginning you might be excited about it because you're making money at it and you got hired and you feel validated, and that's a pretty cool thing. But over the course of time, it doesn't interest you. It's something you're doing for the money. All right. So you're not inspired. But I got to tell you that everything I ever did, what drove me was it being inspired. I mean, incredibly inspired. It was inspiration that took me from one day to the next, where I just couldn't wait to start and get back up the next day and do some more of that. All right. I was endlessly inspired. The only time I wasn't is when it started to feel like a job. When I no longer felt, in other words, let me use construction for an example. In the end of the 70s, throughout the 70s, I was just, I couldn't miss, all right? But by the end of the 70s, I had gone through enough experiences in it. Okay, I learned about myself. I learned about what it was really all about and all that. And I love designing homes and building them and seeing them materialize. And that inspired me. I loved it. I couldn't believe I got to do it. Nobody told me what to do, told me what I couldn't do. It was great. How much more could you ask for? Until the reality of it hit. I was getting sued left and right by people who thought, I was making all this money, and they were trying to go after me. Homeowners were became vicious. What happened is the business became greedy, really, really greedy. And the thrill was gone. Okay, it took the thrill out of it. And then I stayed in the business because I didn't know what else to do. That's when it became a job, and I was no longer working from inspiration. I was working from desperation. That was not good.
That's good.
Okay. So even when I was inspired, there came a time when it was over. Even my guides said, real estate will never be the same for you again. And from it, I got over my anger issues from my childhood, right? So it served its purpose, you guys, but I floundered. I didn't know where to go from there. So I stayed in it, I still did okay, but I didn't like it. I wasn't inspired anymore.
From all the years I spent as an executive recruiter, I could always tell the inspired person from the non-inspired person. Even though they could have even had the same job title, the same kind of responsibilities, making the same kind of money, but I could always tell the inspired one because they talked about the future. They talked about what they were going to do in the future.
And they were excited.
They were excited, but the ones who weren't inspired about the future only talked about, well, I have 10 years of experience.
Past.
They talked about the past. I have 10 years, or I have 15 years of experience, and that was supposed to help them make that step to the next job. But what most of those people had, they didn't have 10 years of experience. They had 1 year of experience 10 times over.
For 10 years. They just repeated what they already knew.
Rinse and repeat for 10 years.
So they didn't learn anything new.
Nothing inspirational.
Right. They weren't growing. They were going through life.
Yeah, there you go. They missed a letter there.
That's
growing
what happened.
And going.
It's a major. Ray has a lot of experience with that.
Yeah, I have.
That's interesting, Ray. That's very good.
I've interviewed a lot of people.
So what else do we have, Ray?
Well, let's see.
And do we have any questions from you guys?
Well, not yet.
Well, not yet. We're getting
Sarah G. Hi, Sarah G. We haven't seen Sarah G. for a long time. Kathy, Mary Jan, and Larissa. Anybody have any questions about short-term or long-term
planning for your life?
Intuition versus gut feelings.
Right. Intuition versus gut feelings. And how do you how do you guys work with both of them? How do you function in your life regarding both of them? What action do you take Gut feeling, what action do you take? Intuition, what action do you take? You know, it really does come down to the bottom line with anything in this life is the action that you take. You get this intuition, you get this feeling, this gut feeling, you get this calling, this feeling. When you were a little kid, you got that feeling. You know what you did? You just went there. You got on your bike and you tried that out. And you went and you met with your friends and you said, look at this, look what I found. Let's go do this. Oh, okay. And you guys were all in, okay? You tried everything. You experimented with everything. Nothing scared you guys. Well, a few things scared you guys, but mostly you guys were all in, and you were all in together. Really, that's what made it so much fun, is the sharing of the experience, you guys.
That's a good question to ask yourself. Am I the inspired type of person following my intuition? Ask yourself, am I having any fun at what I'm doing?
Right. That's huge. Am I excited? Do I wake up every day and want to do it? Because I'll tell you, you guys, here's the real bottom line here. If you're not doing something that inspires you, that you want to do, even if it's a struggle, even if you're a little thin on money, or you're not getting noticed as much as you need to, your whatevers aren't not enough people know that you're there, but you keep mastering it, you keep perfecting it, you keep doing it, you feel inspired to go there and find new ways to be found, find new ways to find your audience for what it is that you're doing that has value to the marketplace. All right, that if you're not doing that, if you don't feel that, and that's not your MO, your mode of operation, if that's not the way you're functioning every day, and you're functioning in where you have to take yourself to work and make yourself get up, and you can't stand that alarm clock, and you can't wait for 5 o'clock, you can't wait for, and that's how you're living, you're going to get sick. You're physically going to get sick. What's going to happen is your guides, your higher self, is trying to get you to go a certain way. Listen to the intuition. Quit worrying about not being supported. You are supported. You've got the guidance. You've got the support. Write it down. You'll see how you've got it. You've got to do the writing for 15 minutes a day. You do that, you've got the support. You can't be afraid to move on it, you guys. Keep some anchor here while you're nurturing this part that inspires you, the part you can tolerate a lot here if you've got this inspiration you're working toward, this goal you're working toward, what calls you. Okay, if you've got that in your life, you can put up with that job a little bit more just to get on your feet here, okay? Maybe work 4 days a week instead of 5, so you can really pursue this and have the energy to see it through. You've got to honor that part of you, and that's why I'm telling you. That's why people get sick when they get older. They hung on here and they've ignored this. They pushed it away and they said, "No, I can't do both. I can't really fit it in. I just have to make more money here. Everything will be all right," and it's not all right. Because you have missed the whole reason that you're here. That's why people get sick. They don't need to get sick. I don't get sick. Ray doesn't get sick. We do have a lot of responsibility. Sometimes we do struggle with what we're doing to figure it out, to get the thing moving, to really do it well. We do put ourselves through a lot of stuff, a lot of angst. To understand and feel and figure it out. But we do not push this away. We are all in, okay? And we keep every day, every morning we wake up, we talk about our dreams. We focus on what guidance is pointing us toward to take the edge off this life, all right? Because this life is not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be a struggle. But you've got to track what's going on so you stop missing it, all right?
All these things, you take a look at somebody who they started in their career, they went to college, they got a good job, and they go, what are they? First thing they start looking for is, well, what am I going to do when I retire? Oh, I got this great job. I got a pension. I got a 401k. I got this and I got that.
They've been so invested in just this world.
Right. So they scrimp and they save all this money and they go without the things that they should have not gone without, like the little rewards along the way they should have given themselves to ease the stress. And they do this all their life, and they get to the time when they are ready to retire and they die.
Well, because they don't have a passion. They don't have. They're not excited about what it is they came here to do. They don't even know what it is anymore.
That's especially, I think, true. I lived in Austin, which is the state capital, and a lot of the people who live there work for the state. And the one thing that every one of them knows, how many years, months, days, weeks, and hours they have left until they can retire and get their pension.
That's not a job. That's a sentence.
Yeah, they're serving a sentence. They might as well be in Huntsville.
So anytime you catch yourself in a spot like that, even if you are in a spot like that, write it down, admit it, tell the truth, tell on yourself, tell the truth, all right? Somebody has to tell you the truth. It's got to be you. You tell the truth. And as you tell the truth, as you see in your writing, even if you don't have a clue about what you want to do, start writing down. It's not about complaining. It's about exposing the truth to yourself right here on the pages in part 3, the journal writing part, all right? And start to see on the pages, do it every day for 15 minutes. You will see what's going on with you, and you will see how this is not enough for you. What's going on in most people's lives, they put up with this and tolerate it, but it's not enough. Even they'll tell you it's not enough. They just put up with it, all right? That is not the answer. No, you put up with it, but bring this back and implement this, and that gives you a reason to tolerate this just long enough until you can get this moving, all right? And that's your passion. That's who you are. That's who came here to experience this life and live it on your terms, the way you want it, the way you want to express yourself and have value to the marketplace. Not just because you can make money over here and, pay the bills. That'll never be enough. That's what wears people out, wears them down.
Mary Jan has a good example here. She goes,
Great.
The way I can best describe the way my intuition works is like a tea kettle. At first, it comes in like a gentle bubbling. It's bubbling up, and I notice it, and I'm very aware of it. I know I have to take action and do something about it. If I wait too long, you get that nagging, high-pitched noise, that whistle. I really try not to wait to the point where, she's at the tea kettle whistling stage.
And you guys, it shouldn't have to be torment. Actually, when the intuition comes through, it should be cool. It should be the best thing that happened to you that day. Oh my God, something that knows something more than I do gave me direction today. What? Write that down. If it's a dream, where it came through. If it was when you were driving to the store or driving to work or driving somewhere, boom, came through that insight. In the shower, it comes through all the time. Okay, you walking somewhere, somebody came up and said something to you, you're going, they didn't know that. They don't know where I'm coming. They don't even know who I am. Yet they said that to me just now. Where's my journal? I need to write that down. I'm going to write that down because even I don't get that until I see it on the page. Okay.
Kathy, Mary Jan says she never wants to hear that roaring boil.
No, you don't. And you need to move on it right away. Okay, go ahead.
Kathy says, I've always had strong intuition, but I have not always had a relationship with my guides and been able to consult with them on important matters in my life. The difference in my life now that I do have that relationship is that I no longer live a fear-based life. I now have perfect peace. It's such a joyous life now.
And I know that for a fact. We've known Kathy now for
A couple years.
a little more than like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And when we first met Kathy, something real radical happened in her life. And she was very upset. And she met Ray and I, and then she met the group through Ask the Universal Channel and connected with them. And Kathy, you've been on your way ever since. It's been remarkable. What a shift in you. And I know you're out of the fear. I know you are.
You know what I find amazing, I mean truly amazing, is that the people who follow you, your friends you have on Facebook who follow you, people who've gotten coaching sessions, they've joined the groups, they come to the
We got the books.
They got the books.
Yes.
They come to the live events.
It all started with Guided.
Right. It all started with Guided, and you go back and look at when they first connected with you, and you look at their pictures, how their pictures changed.
It's true.
They look like totally different people.
They all look younger.
They all look younger. They're smiling.
Right.
They're happy.
From the inside out.
Right.
From the inside out. This is not something where you go buy something and you're happy for 5 minutes. All right?
Yeah.
This is happiness from the inside out. Something that they've been wondering, pondering, wandering, looking for, missing, not knowing what it was, confusion. And that's right, Ray.
I've just been amazed by some lately. I mean, people that we knew that came to you for a coaching session, and they were hurting.
I know.
And you look at them now, and their eyes are bright, and they're smiling.
And they can talk now. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of these people had trouble even communicating their feelings or what they needed to know about. They were terrified, frozen. Okay, and you know what? From this perspective, they couldn't do this anymore. They couldn't just be in this world anymore. They were guided to move through that, and that's how they were sent to me. Is what happened. And I will say this: when I wrote this, My Guided Journey. This is part 2 and 3 in this book. You can get part 3, just the journal writing, in the separate book I have called My Journal Writing. But in this book, I wrote this because of all of the fans I had come to me saying, after listening or reading Guided, I know I can do this. I got this thing. I know, but I need some help. I need something to help me get there and help me keep myself there, not just get me there, but where I can stay on my path. That's where this came from. And I will say this, all the years I spent journal writing, I did it from the time I was 7 years old, and I never shared my journals with anybody. That's what brought that out, Guided. That's what brought Guided to the forefront. How in the heck could I write a book? I never wrote a book before, but here I had been journaling all those years, right? I've been journaling and writing about my dreams, writing them down, asking myself how it felt, what I realized, what action I could take on it. I was seeing it on the page. I was realizing myself. I was self-realized in a major way from doing the journal writing. That's what led to this book. Now, I'm not saying that you guys will wind up needing to write a book or put a book out there. You don't need to do that. But if you have any inclination about doing that, your journal writing will polish you up. It will get you prepared for that. I didn't know that. That's why I wrote this journal, so you guys could flush out the truth within you and live a full life. Writing your own book? No, I never suggest that you write your own book in any part of this journal, not once. But it could lead to that if it's meant to be. Okay, I didn't know. My guides told me 20 years before I wrote and published Guided, I was going to write this book. I'm going, what? I'm not a writer, at the time. Well, it turns out that, what's a writer? Or what's anything that you do? If you follow your guidance and you get on your yellow brick road and you go that way, you don't know who you are until you do it, until you try it, until you go that way. And let the guidance take you there. Trust yourself. This is how you're going to learn to trust yourself again, right here. is writing it down, that 15 minutes a day.
You weren't an architect. You weren't an internet service provider. You weren't a real estate broker.
None of that.
You weren't a writer.
No, I was none of that.
Right.
And you know what? They guided me to go this way right now. And they guided me to get out of it. Time to sell. Oh, yeah. God, not again. You know, and I was just moving through the motions. In a marriage, time to get out. Not going to work out. Oh, okay.
What do I do now?
You know, I mean, it was just the way it is, you guys. You've got to be okay on your magic carpet ride. You've got to be okay on that thing. And I know, Kathy, I know you know that. I know you feel that. And I'm going to say even the guide said to me, I had a dream last night. And they said, Linda, you just need to stay brave. They're working me through something right now that's like, oh my God. You know, I'm just going, whoa. But you know what? They know me. They know me. They know I'm going to move on it. They know I'm moving on it. In fact, I'm stepping into it, you know.
With their help.
Yeah, I mean, always with their guidance.
Give you a little push there.
And him too. Yeah. Ray's getting the same. Yep. So you got to write it down, though, you guys, so you can see what's going on. 20 years later, I wrote the book. Write it down. You will see and then in 1994, 1994 is when they came to me. And then in 2004, I meet Ray, and they say, he is part of the project. He's part of this, okay? And I'm going, oh, you know, now they really moved on that, writing the book. They really
they told us early on, you guys need to write a book. You guys need to write a book. And we kept asking, what should the book be about? Relationships. Should be about relationships.
Yeah, and then they got quiet about it, and they said, you already have. I said, well, you know, this and that, and they'd go, well, you already have it. Like what? Like I don't know, different parts of the book. They said you already have it.
Right.
Well, I took the photograph
10 years before we met.
And that was a big part of it. Okay. Of course, I've seen him since I was 20 months old. It really started when I was 20 months old. No, it started before that. The merry-go-round dream. That's before 20 months old. I mean, you guys, it follows you here. You can't not miss that guidance. It's not possible to miss it. But you have to write it down. Listen to me. I will never stop saying it. That's how that came out. That's how I was able to purge all this, remember all this, and lay it down on a page, on the pages, in an order that really helped you guys get this thing, all right? It starts with guided. It really does. And so anyway, there's always a start for all of you. There's a place where it all begins. This is where it begins. It begins with your 15 minutes a day. Ray said that, what was that, 30 minutes a day within 1 year?
1 year is 100 and, let's see here, that's a lot, it's a big number. 1 year is 182 hours. So the average college degree is 120 hours.
Okay, so after just half the time, 15 minutes a day, you're going to be an expert at what's going on in your life. You will not need to go see a psychiatrist, a psychic, or anybody. You got this thing.
Right.
And the only thing that could hold you up is your courage, bravery to step into it. But I will tell you this: when you write it down and you've got the evidence on the sequential pages in chronological order, and it's there, you guys won't miss it. You couldn't miss it if you tried. Even if you tried to avoid it, you couldn't. That's the beauty of this. You don't miss your life.
Don't miss your life.
This is short-term and long-term planning for your life. The short-term planning, the gut feelings, the instant stuff. And the long-term planning, the intuition. Write them both down so you can start to see what the difference is. So you can start to see how your guidance and how your GPS, internal GPS, is communicating with you. You came in with this technology built in.
Okay. We have a latecomer.
Who do we have, Ray?
Kimberly Williams came in. She says, hello, sorry I'm late. Well, Kimberly, that's not going to affect your top fan status in any way. Kimberly Williams says, they're definitely teaching me every day. And then she says, I know that they know everything, so why can't they just answer questions that are just to inform us, but not necessarily to guide us? They're always telling me that they can't tell me this or that.
Yeah, I think I know where that's coming from. Let's let her guides talk to her about that, Ray.
Kimberly, you do ask a lot of questions. If we just came out and told you the answers, you would never learn anything. If we told you everything to do and when to do it, you would never be forced to make a decision.
This is about trusting yourself.
Right.
So how do you trust yourself? You keep writing it down. Write down those questions you have. And what you're going to be surprised at, Kimberly, as you keep the journal writing going in part 3, as you keep doing this, you're going to see them infiltrate your writing. You're going to look back at it and go, I don't remember writing those 2 sentences or that paragraph. I don't remember maybe writing the whole thing, because you have a lot of questions. I will say this, when you first start to wake up and become aware that there's more going on than you thought in this life, the first thing that happens to you is you have this urgent feeling that hits you, and you have all these questions. Those are the questions you didn't get answered when you were little. Somebody said something stupid to you. They didn't answer you. They showed no respect, all right? You were just a stupid little kid and they blew you off. That type of thing. That was not good, all right? That made you doubt yourself. That made you feel like you shouldn't ask questions, because then you'll be perceived as stupid, just like the kids in school would say, what, are you stupid?
Linda, you just don't get it.
Yeah, oh, that was the one they said to me. You don't get it, Linda. And I would look at them and think, you're right. I totally don't get it. And I have no desire to get whatever it is you guys are into. The catty little fights you do, the backstabbing, the friends you call friends that you turn on, and hurt deeply. I don't get it. True. I don't care about getting it. So it's just about all the questions you didn't get answered, Kimberly. And now you've got, they're there. Now you're being heard, and you can't stop asking all those questions. It's a normal response. Breathe and write it in your journal. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, Kimberly says that makes sense. And Jay Handy says, Jay has a question.
Good.
If guides are highly functioning in one's life, how are other guides for people who are not in tune with them? How do they get direction from them for their own benefit and for the rest of the world? Because he's saying, everybody has guides, but some people are tuned into them, some people are not tuned into them.
Right. Well, when they're not tuned into their guides, they're not getting the information. It's that simple.
Yeah.
They have, what happens, Jay, here's the real downside of not having a connection to your guides and not being aware of the guidance that's coming through. When something radical happens, and it'll happen, it happens in all of our lives at some point, something that really you need an answer. You need to know what to do. When you have a connection to your guides, you've practiced having this connection. You've done the work, 15 minutes a day, you write. It's like your meditation. You spend time investing your time in this discipline, okay, in this quiet time that you set aside 15 minutes a day, and you do it every day. I don't care if you have to get in your car to do it, to get away from the people who are not tuned in. Find a place that's your place where you take that moment to do that. Okay, you promise that to yourself. No matter what, you do that. When you need to have an answer, you just keep doing the same thing you've always done. Get with your journal, write in that 15 minutes, and you will see it show up on the pages. It's the discipline, it's the process, it's consistency, it's the alone time, and it's the most important thing, it's learning how to manage your energy. Slow down, stop. Everyone's going too fast. Breathe, and be at total peace with yourself, quiet. You're not desperate to have an answer. You don't need to know. You're not terrified. Okay, you've got this resource. You use it every day, and you just keep doing it. And then when something does happen, you just bring out your resource. This is it. Bring it out and start and keep writing, and you're going to see the answer on the pages you are. And here's another thing that's going to come through. It's going to come through your dreams. Loud and clear, because you are open to it. But if you don't practice this and you don't keep that motion going, that movement going, that connection going, you will be like adrift without a paddle when you need the answers. You will not know what you will freeze up. So that's what happens to the people who are not connected. You'll see them do when something happens that they need to have the answer. They'll panic. And then if they're around you, then they become your burden. It's a real tough place to be when you're with people who are not connected, who are unconscious. It's very hard. It gets harder. I will warn you, it gets harder and harder. The more connected you are, the more tuned in you are, the harder it gets to be, it will become to be around people who are not. And that's guidance pushing you beyond that.
Yeah, these people who are not connected to their guides, they'll still get the gut feelings. They'll act on animal instinct.
And react.
And
they will not act. They will not be in control of themselves. They will just fly off the handle. Okay, when you practice and you've done your work and your discipline every day, and you see that happen, you just go, wow, that's totally unnecessary, And they will lean hard on you, And if they know that you've moved this way, if you're on a spiritual path, then they may even attack you verbally, insult you. If you're such a, you know all this, then you should have the answers. I mean, they'll be, sharp with you, and it's just the worst place to be. I've spent a lot of time in it. I've been around that a lot, and I can't be around that. I can't be around that and do my best work. That's what I can't do, and not be tormented by it internally, and have a consequence from it, where I can't sleep and my health starts to go south. It's not good. It's not why you came here. I'm going to go back to, it's not supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to struggle. It's supposed to be fun. So what do we have, Ray? Okay. So Ray's taking care of the social media. I think what I'm going to do, Ray, is I'm going to go ahead and move along with our what we're going to talk about before we close the session with the guides about our session tonight, which is short-term or long-term planning for your life, the gut feeling versus the intuition, and what's the difference and how do they work together, I'm going to talk about a few announcements here. Next Tuesday, October 29th, join me right here on my Facebook page, Linda, Deir Author. This will be a Q&A and commentary with me and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it. In Linda's weekly guided insights, my spirit guides will be talking about the end of being controlled by fear. Now that kind of ties into where I can finish this tonight. Linda, here's what they said. Linda, we told you many times from the time you were a baby that most people who live in your lifetime will die having lived fear-based lives. If people stopped and listened, they would realize that most everything is sold to them through the use of fear tactics. They may not even notice them because they have been so conditioned to react to the fearful messages that they don't notice the effect they've had and continue to have. Okay, so that kind of ties into the people who try to keep you, just people who are just in this world, and they're controlled only by being in this world, and they don't even, they're actually afraid to enter into who it is they really are, the guidance that which is with them all the time, and the guidance they get so they can move that way. They feel out of control. They want to be in control. Okay, that type of thing. And anybody who follows their guidance is cuckoo or something, you know. Okay, so
that's one of the hardest things, to get more and more people to follow a spiritual path.
Is what other people will think about them.
They will not talk to their friends. They will not tell their friends, what a wonderful book. Guided, Linda Deir, she's written 5 books.
We're going to talk about that next week. Yeah. We're going to talk the end of being controlled by fear.
Right.
Okay, and we're going to talk about the many ways that that's going on, so that you guys can tune into this and go, okay, I got this thing. I see where it is. You know, you'll see where it's showing up in your day-to-day life, all right? Okay, so mark your calendars for next month's live event, Saturday, November 9th. Ray and I will be live on location in Phoenix, Arizona at Storm Wisdom from 1 to 3 p.m. This event is about knowing what to do and when to do it with the help of your spirit guides. With Linda Deir, Ray Hawley, along with those who attend on location. It's a free event for those who attend live on location with us, but most of you will be signing up for the online live streaming. You can also attend this via live streaming, watch it on demand for 30 days after it's over for just $9.95. Register early because seating is limited. And to watch the video trailer and register for this event, click on the link in the description of this video. Some people are confusing the on-location attendance, where you have to be here in Phoenix, with the online live streaming. Live streaming means you can watch it anywhere in the world over the internet for $9.95. You'll need to sign up for that, and that's $9.95. So don't confuse those two.
And you can watch it for 30 days.
Yeah, on the replay, on demand, okay? So even if you can't make it the moment it's there, you can watch it later. All right. So, okay, so here's, we're going to do the closing message for tonight's insight about short-term or long-term planning for your life. And here they go.
When looking at short-term and long-term planning, just remember that the gut feelings, the short-term planning needs immediate action, while the intuitive hits you get all the time give you a sense of where you are going, but you need to take action that's required to get there. We want you to remember just a few more things. On the long-term intuitive journey. Stay inspired, stay healthy, stay balanced, and remain present.
That's a lot to do. You guys need to write that down. Okay, those four things they just said. Right, Ray?
That's right.
4 things. So if you have to listen to the video again,
or Ray could repeat them again. I know.
No. But if you have to just replay the video, and you'll be able to remember what they said there, because that's important. Those are the basic steps to keep you on your path. All right, that's important. All right.
Replaying that video, especially like the live November 9th live video over 30 days. If you listen to it like multiple times, one of the big advantages, maybe my jokes will get funnier the more you listen to it. Is that possible? Sometimes you don't get my jokes the first time. See, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really tell that many jokes in the live events because I'm busy really working with you guys, all right? Really getting getting the point across, really getting the information out there so you guys can get your head around this and really implement it into your life. That's the whole point to these, okay? That's why Ray and I put these on. Really get in there and work on one area, knowing what to do and when to do it. Imagine that, November 9th.
How would your life be different if you knew what to do and when to do it every time?
That's what my book Guided is all about. And I always knew what to do and when to do it, and how. And here's another part to that: how to handle it. Okay, how to handle people's reaction to you doing what you know you need to do when you need to do it.
Right.
Okay, and how you handle that. All right.
Linda, you make it look so easy. Look at you, you've got all this advantage. You just do it. Make it look easy.
I'll help you with that. I'll show you where you're compromising yourself, where you're watering down your effectiveness in your life, and really, really missing the best part of you, okay? And how to stop doing that. Sign up for that event. Don't miss it, all right?
And Ray will put the link to the online only Zoom webinar for November 9th. I'll put it up in the feed when we're done.
Oh, it's there.
Okay.
When they go to that page you sent them to.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only thing that's hot.
Okay.
You click on it, takes you right to the online streaming. Okay.
Right.
Yep. You can't miss it. All
and
right.
Those are fun. And 5 people are going to win. 5 lucky people are going to win that an audiobook version of your 3rd book.
Right.
How to Live a Guided Life, Meeting the Real You.
Meeting the Real You. Okay, we're getting in there, you guys.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
You're going to like who you are.